We turn now to a developing story this morning, the effort to balance the state's budgets.
A deal is headed to the governor's desk, but the wrangling to cut costs isn't over. We're still waiting to hear whether the unions will give billions in concessions. News 8's Annie Rourke has more on that.
People who like to get their pets groomed are among those who will feel the effects of this budget, because that will now be taxed if this budget goes through, though it is not a done deal just yet. Now, the House passed the budget just before midnight after 10 hours of debate. The Senate had already passed it. It is a 2-year deal totaling $40.2 billion, but that depends on big concessions from state unions, and that agreement has not yet been hammered out. If the governor does not get those concessions, $2 billion worth, the state will have to start layoffs. We're told possibly as soon as this Friday. Now, if the deal does go through, it does include new taxes, a general tax increase for your income, sales taxes as well, things like cigarettes, alcohol, pet grooming services, car washes, clothing and footwear under $50. But this budget does keep funding in place for cities and towns. Other states have cut that funding drastically and not raised taxes. Governor Malloy decided to go in a different direction, saying if he cut funding to cities and towns, that would severely impact services across the state. But again, all of this depends on the union concessions. They are saying that the state should raise taxes on the wealthiest in the state instead of going after the public servants. But of course, we'll have to wait and see how those negotiations go later on this week. On the scene in North Haven, I'm Annie Rourke, News 8.